Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to take a look at collective message. I actually did record one already today. It just never finished processing. It got lost in the underworld. So tomorrow we will release a collective message that you'll notice I'm in the same clothing because it was, in fact, recorded today. It just can't get released till tomorrow. We start with a King of Wands. You know what's bizarre? I'm quite certain that the other video starts with a King of Wands, also different deck. I didn't even use this deck in that. But let's see. This will be interesting to see if we get a similar story or not. Hi, Sunshine. Great to see you. King of Wands, Knight of Cups. Somebody knows where their heart is. Somebody knows what he wants or she wants. It doesn't ever matter to me what genders we're talking about, but we do have a feminine being depicted on this masculine card. So we could have a Leo, Sag, or Aries. That is like very expressive, or they have been captured by someone else's heart song, we'll say. Let's see. Rach is magic. Great to see you, love. We have the Chariot and we have the Page of Wands. Okay, definitely forward motion, granted slow moving motion, but motion nonetheless. This feels like if a King of Wands knows where his heart is, he's excited about this, right? He's drawn in. I'm wondering though if he's watching her move on away from him, and it's like his eyes are tracking her. If she tried to call out to him, but he didn't make a move toward her, normally a King of Wands would not just be standing still. Normally they really follow their heart. So I'm not sure what the conditions are around this just yet. Let's actually go ahead and just break it down one card at a time. What's the King of Wands doing here? Empress, Death card. Okay, so he may not have felt this way before. This might be a new emotion for him to be experiencing. Death card says there's a big transformation. He's looking at her like, oh my God, this is somebody really special. How did he look at her before? The Hermit, the Queen of Wands, somebody that was not accessible, even if she was lovely in his eyes. Still, there was like, oh, she doesn't want me approaching. I can't picture her like welcoming me into her world. It's just, that's so not even on the table. So he looked at her as like aloof. In both cases, she's, drawn away from him. In both cases, she's somehow inaccessible to him. I'm not sure why he thought that. Can we ask that right now before we move on? Page of Swords, Three of Wands in the reverse. Well, he was either watching her from a great distance. I mean, not even the same state, town, city, region, maybe country. And he didn't see how that was going to be changing anytime soon. This is... I'm wondering if there was some spying going on, like he was inspired by her or has been paying attention to her wherever she's at, whomever she is, showing herself to be right now, whomever she is depicting herself as. There seems to be some reason that he's more drawn to her at this point in a different way. But in the past, it was like, oh, I can't possibly, my eyes watch her, but oh, what's that song? My eyes adored you, though I never laid a hand on you, my eyes adored you. And like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close, and yet so far away. I have no idea who sings that. It really feels like a lover at a distance. We could never, have happiness. So it's ridiculous for me to even think about that, but I can't help but admire her. Okay, so what has changed? With that Death card that we saw, let's actually change decks since we're talking about a change in him. And this is critical to the story. I know we still didn't even get to those other three cards yet, but what has changed is some kind of nervousness has shifted off of him. Maybe he's no longer feeling like, oh, this is ridiculous for me to be watching her from afar. I don't know why. This almost feels like, did somebody think they were watching someone like famous, somebody that they couldn't access, somebody that was so, just outside of their realm? We have the Strength card and we have the Eight of Swords. He's starting to think about, like, there's less stress, and he's starting to think about the obstacles, and he's starting to think that maybe there is a way forward. Maybe he wouldn't have to say, oh, well, I certainly couldn't reach out to her. Is he like starstruck by her? Here's the thing. Even if he is starstruck by her for some reason, he's amazing in his own right. AC, welcome, sweetheart. That is so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here, love. The fact that he's an amazing individual himself just looks like, I don't know. It looks like, why would he be starstruck by somebody else when he might be a star too? Maybe he's just exceptionally humble, a King of Wands who just doesn't know how amazing he is. I mean, you can't help but really already like this cat, right? He seems to be somebody who's admiring and has like really good vibes, and he's also been working on some kind of courage, and he's been thinking more and more about a way through what he perceives as an obstacle. Interesting. I'm wondering if this is like, maybe he sees her on like a social media scenario, or I don't know why he's not been in her realm. Or did he ever meet her face to face? Was there ever any connection between these two? The Fool in the reverse, no. Again, great distance here. How does he know of her? The World, he knows about her from cross culture, across, I'm thinking right now, across the universe. I love that version by Rufus Wainwright and Julian Lennon. It's beautiful. But I'm feeling like there was, in that song, there's a line about like something like words fall from my lips like water from a paper cup, or something along those lines. I think I'm misquoting it, but I'm wondering if somehow he knows of her existence. He's seen her from a very great distance away. Maybe there's I don't know if he's going to be in her region or something. You notice how the serpent is eating its own tail? Either this is coming full circle. He may have kind of had a crush on her, said it's not possible, there's no reason for me to think about her, and now that's coming back around, and now it's like, wait a second, if I have a crush on somebody, why can't I reach out to them on whatever, Instagram, or DM them or whatever? I don't know. There's so many social media profiles out there now. With this Knight of Cups, let's go over to her, because this is one of the things that he started out by saying, I now know I'm drawn, I'm pulled in, I want to go ahead and listen to her heart song, or he has been all this time, and it's really impacted him. The Lovers, he is like fallen in love with her even from afar. She could be a Gemini, doesn't have to be, or there's just something about her that resonates with him. She comes across as possibly a Queen of Pentacles, so could be an earth sign, does not have to be. She could be a blonde, does not have to be. Does she have any clue that there's something about the way she lives, or the way she expresses herself, or her heart? Does she know that people are drawn to her? She does, but it looks like it's mostly like, it's a bunch of women that are drawn to her. So it could be like she has lots of friends around her, or she could be, somebody who's a Queen of Pentacles tends to be pretty giving, somebody who has a lot to offer, a lot of friendship, a lot of, they care about people. And maybe that's one of the other reasons he's seen that in her. He's seen her, be a giver, or he's seen her be an emotional support system to others. This feels not like she's so sought after for romantic purposes all the time, but rather we are kind of painting the picture of, it almost feels like this could be a love story between two people in the public eye, and when I say the public eye, they don't have to be movie stars. They could be, let's say, in one small town. Let's say he's a business owner, and let's say she, does some good volunteer work in the community. And it's like he's known of her through the grapevine, but has been too shy to approach her. But he knows kind of the essence of who she is, or he's heard comments by her, or heard how she speaks. There's something that he likes about her. Gail Rubin, thank you, sweetheart. You're so generous. Thank you. You're so kind. We got the King of Wands again. You know what? I'm wondering. I'm sorry, this is such a bizarre and specific message, but this is what we've got because we're talking about her right now. She's been looking for somebody just like him. And maybe there's some element where he's heard through the grapevine or he's heard her say something and he's like, wow, she like totally just described me. And maybe that is one of the things giving him confidence. She cares about him. She likes him. There's something about him that's really special in her eyes, or a man like him. And he's realizing it. Please remember, I don't actually read for genders. So, swap whatever genders we wish, but I'm going to keep saying him because this is a king twice in a row. It almost feels like, what she's wishing for is somebody just like him. What she's, admitted or has tried to find, or hell, maybe she knows about him from a distance too. Maybe she said something good about him in this group of friends or something, and he's overheard that. And it's like, oh, she likes me. Maybe it is a direct thing, even though this is two people who've never like interacted before. Maybe they are like famous, maybe they're movie stars, maybe they're people who have like mutual admiration for each other or something, and they've heard through the grapevine that they both think highly of each other even though they've never spoken directly. This feels like it's a little bit more than a crush. This feels like there's some love going on here, but it all feels very very respectful and very heartfelt. So we got to get to these next two cards because where is she going? Why is she in her snail? What's she doing? She's the one who seems to be moving forward. She seems pretty confident. Four of Cups in the reverse. She's moving forward in her life in general. She's got this attitude that she doesn't want to miss out on any great experiences. She doesn't want to have missed opportunities. She may be very open, very authentic, this is usually somebody who's really emotionally stable. And we certainly have seen her that way, right? We've seen her grounded. We've seen her as a giver. We've seen her as somebody who's pretty warm, welcomes people into her life, openly has either commented on what kind of a king she'd like to meet, or is really thinking heavily about partnership for herself right now and the type of partner she'd like, or she's been thinking about, for some reason, about him. All I can say is she's very, I think she's probably pretty direct, pretty open with her emotions, with her compliments, with the way she feels about things, because it's better to just be open about what we want in life rather than hold back and then never get what we want at all. So what if we face ridicule or foolishness or even embarrassment for speaking something that's true for our own heart? At least we don't have to hold those words in our chest and never speak them out loud. I think that would be a much greater tragedy to never say anything that we really felt. Rach is magic. Thank you. Thank you, love. You're so generous. Thank you, honey. Got a Knight of Cups. She is so ready and so willing to accept romance. I do think that romance is on the mind. For her, what she's seeking is emotional fulfillment. And emotional fulfillment, let me backtrack. It doesn't have to be about romance, but let's say there are things that she cares about. She's made her little list of things that she wants, and she's really getting more dedicated to going after those things. Now, I think among that list is she'd like companionship, she'd like romance, she'd like, maybe she just would like to talk to somebody that, there's an attraction to. Okay, so let's get over here, and he's still watching. He has a tendency to do some watching of her. We saw that with the Knight of Swords. We see it now with the Page of Wands, which normally I would not read this card this way, but we have to because of the imagery. What are you noticing? What are you watching on her, huh? What's going on there? Prince of Pentacles. He's still kind of man, he is a little bit slow as molasses, but we could also, because I'm hearing smooth operator in my head right now. Sade is playing in my head right now. So I don't know if he's trying to be cool and calm about this, but he's watching her every move. I feel like these two have increased the it's so weird how there's like this bizarre attraction that exists, even though these two are not even in each other's worlds, like at all. Like they don't see each other on the day to day. They don't have conversation. They never have. In this storyline, forgive me, but that is what we've got. These two have never spoken. And yet there's this attraction that exists. That's why I keep feeling like it's two people who've seen each other online, two people who have not interacted in the real world, but know of one another, or have seen each other's photos or know each other's work, but have not yet connected. Okay, so for him, doing some more heartfelt and kind of heavy duty checking things out, making more of a plan that he's number one, I think if he has some inkling that she thinks highly of him or a man like him, that is giving him some confidence, right? We got a little bit of the nice feathers, the peacock feathers, and in the especially in the peacock world, those males have those gorgeous feathers, just stunning, and they do kind of their mating dance, and they're really, really glorious. And I keep thinking, I mean, I think this guy is a hottie. I think he's amazing. I think he definitely has some good feathers. Okay, that's whether that means he's got great hair, or he's got great eyes, or he's got a great smile, or he's got a great voice, or just the sound of his voice, or the way he constructs his sentences. He's sexy, but he feels a little more empowered, a little sexier, even though he's still moving slow. We see a plan for the upcoming year. We don't see it right now. And I say that because she's thinking about him or a man like him pretty heavily here at the end of this 2024. I shouldn't say it that way. It's the end of the year of the dragon. We're already in 2025, but year of the dragon was 2024. And technically Chinese New Year doesn't roll over until the 29th. So we're going to celebrate the year of the snake pretty soon. We're not there yet. She has plans for year of the snake because we got the serpent there. He's somebody who she's still thinking about here at the tail end of the year. And I always look at the world and the wheel of fortune like a year's cycle. Now, this usually has more to do with divine timing. This is normally a little bit more of a, like, we get to, well, okay, I should preface this just a little bit. This particular card shows us our goddess of the earth. And in the story, she loses her daughter and has to go questing to find her daughter. And because Persephone gets taken down to Hades. And while Persephone is down in Hades, Demeter, sorry, I didn't preface the Mother Earth's name, but Demeter stops caring for the earth and it lays fallow. And there's like an allegorical story in this Greek mythology where it's like the loss, the quest, and then the ascension, because she eventually does get her daughter back. Persephone gets to come back to the surface and be with her mother again. However, because she ate a couple of pomegranate seeds when she was in the underworld, it means that she has to go back for like as many seeds as she ate is as many months as she has to go back to the underworld. And when that happens, Demeter again goes into depression and stops caring for the earth because she is the goddess of the earth. That is the explanation as to how we have the seasons. So when we have, the cold wintry times and nothing is happening, it's because she's mourning the loss of Persephone. And the only reason I mention all that is because in this story, we've had these two that are like longing for each other from a distance, seeking something that they don't have. And like, this is kind of like the hunger and the quest. And now I think we're getting to the ascension pretty soon. The coming together, maybe we could even talk about it as like these two eventually elevating and connecting. Morticia Graveside, thank you, honey. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for your generous gifts and your beautiful compliments. Thank you. We've got this hanged man, Piscean energy for him. He does tend to self-sacrifice. Maybe one of the reasons he hasn't come toward her quite yet is because he's got like other people to care about, other things. This is more like somebody who cares about their community. This can also be someone who is postponing a little bit, they're delaying a little bit because they're looking at things through all different lenses. I do feel like he's a pretty deep thinker, whoever he is. I mean, obviously, anybody who pays attention to someone, even from afar, thinks enough about them to consider who that person is, consider enough about them to realize, wow, I appreciate this person. I admire this person. I like their heart. Like, it's as if he's been getting to know her. This feels very like old-fashioned Victorian kind of love story, right? Getting to know each other through this very chaste, very I'm picturing that film Room with a View in my mind. Loved that film. But that, well, I guess book first, but that film with Julian Sands and Helen Bonham Carter. Anyway, it just comes across like there's a reason that he pauses, and I could picture him being somebody who slowly mulls over his words a little bit also. And this is not a bad thing. He's not like somebody who's just like, dun, dun, dun. He's not delaying. This is a super intelligent and very passionate man, but at the same time, he takes his time, maybe because it's important, maybe because he's heart-centered, maybe because there's a very good reason for him to like not prolong this for the drama of it, but there is something that he feels he needs to consider from all angles. What is it that you're considering from all angles? The Ace of Cups. Look, this is somebody who does not intend to come forward because they're bored on a Tuesday. That's not why he's going to do this. Sorry that I'm at the club going up on a Tuesday. That song's in my head now too. We got an 8 of Wands. When he speaks, he wants to be able to say things that have consequence, words that have merit, words that have weight. He fully intends to express himself, stepping out of the shadows as someone who's like been an admirer from afar, and then opening up that dialogue and trying to begin with something that shows the appreciation, the admiration in a non-creepy way. I could see how he's like mulling over that, looking at it from every angle. This is somebody who has every intention of speaking what's on their mind and on their heart. This is not somebody who is going to pussyfoot around it. But at the same time, like, how do you convey without any context or any backstory when you haven't met each other, when you haven't had time together? How do you convey, like, I've watched you from afar in a non-creepy way. I really appreciate what I've seen in you. I feel like I got to know something about you. And it's made my heart feel warm towards you. I want to talk to you in the real world now and not just feel this connection from across time and space. How do you say all that? I could understand why he's thinking about this from every angle. How are you going to do this? Prince of Wands, 7 of Wands. He's going to do it through interpretive dance. This always looks like he's, I don't know, I expect him to go cha and little jazz hands or something all of a sudden in this position that he's in, because he's kind of like tapping around on his tippy toes or something. I'm sorry, my brain goes in lots of creative ways sometimes. I don't think he's going to do interpretive dance, but because this would be like a Magic Mike stripper dance from what we can see. No, I don't think he's going to use that method. This might be creative. This might be something that, again, he's still kind of mulling over it, working on it. He's more passionate about it, and it does feel, with all the wand energy, it feels very creative. So I don't know, does she inspire him? I think I just said this in another storyline. Is she somewhat of a muse for him? If he does something creative, he might be getting inspired enough to, do something creative to like show or express or feel, or, I mean, maybe it's a poem. We were talking about this being kind of like Victorian, kind of chaste, kind of, admiring each other from afar, and then, moving the connection from, the mind and just the watching and admiring into like tangible context where we can talk and get these two together. Maybe he's going to be motivated to write a poem or something. Maybe there's, because this feels creative. Anytime we get wands, it's creativity, and it's heart-centered creativity. So that's where our best creativity comes from. It doesn't really come from the mind, or at least I don't think so. I think it comes from the heart. 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. He's got writer's block. Oh, okay. This is Ganesh, remover of obstacles. He needs to put a little candle out to old Ganesh and say, help me unblock. Let me connect to my higher self. Universe, give me the words, give me the verses, give me the lyrics, give me whatever it is that I need to say to her. 8 of Cups. This is when on this 8 of Cups, we see somebody like walking right into the deep cave that is within ourselves. It's the 8 of Cups is, oftentimes we interpret it as like somebody leaving and just going someplace else, but other times we could interpret it, and more accurately, especially with this card, as somebody who is walking into the spiritual depths of what resides somewhere deep inside of us. We got to plumb the catacombs of our soul or our heart to find the words, to find the lyrics, to find the expressions that this character needs. And it's I'm hearing that song by Robert Palmer, She Makes My Day. Yes, and She by Elvis Costello too, although I never dug that song. I know everybody loves it. It just, I don't know. Certain songs never like lifted me the way I think they're supposed to. I think something's broken for me. I know it's a great song, but and I can admire it, but I don't enjoy it. I don't listen to it. Whereas She Makes My Day, totally my jam. I don't know if he's looking for words to describe. It's like he's looking for the right words to describe how he views the divine feminine. Again, this feels like quite a poet at this point. The way these cards are coming out, the fact that he's looking for words, the fact that he's blocked on words to express how he feels, but more importantly, words to express this feminine, and kind of like how did he come up with, like, he's drawn to her even though he's not met her. How do you fall for somebody that you haven't met? Because he's obviously seen enough of her to know enough of, like what she displays. You may not know her favorite color. You may not know if she likes blueberries, on yogurt. You may not know her favorite, whatever, films or something, but those tiny details, those are like the fun day-to-day things that you get to know when you're around somebody a lot. But the essence of who somebody is, like what they think about something, what you admire them for, kind of the big ticket items, I definitely think you can fall for somebody if you are able to see them interact, see the authentic themselves, the authentic version of them. I think it's very easy to fall for somebody if you're seeing them enough, even at a distance, maybe even better at a distance, because there's no dating scenario or awkwardness. You're not trying to get to know somebody. You just kind of are like through osmosis, picking up on kind of the essence of who they are. But that's also really hard. How do you describe through osmosis, I have fallen in love with you because I detected the essence of what you are as a human and as a soul, and I feel this connection to you? How do you say that without sounding like a crackpot? The thing is, she'll get it, because with the star here, this is kind of an otherworldly connection. I don't think this will be weird to her at all. There's something about the cosmos here. Normally we could read the star as, distance, as travel, as reaching for goals, as healing. But right now, I just feel like it's the connection to something bigger than us, something bigger than, how are we here at all? Are we star seeds? Are we, if we know that we are made of stardust in the literal sense, every terrestrial element that we have here on Earth is actually made in stars during that fusion that goes on. So it just kind of, I could understand that this kind of defies explanation to a certain extent, but on the other hand, isn't that always love? Doesn't love always defy explanation? It doesn't make sense, but it's there. And when you know, you know. So what happens? Let's change decks, and we can already see the direction that this thing is going. We can already see this. We've got Empress in the reverse. She always comes out in the reverse in this deck. I mean, I'm talking 100% of the time. She comes out in the reverse in this deck. We've got the Four of Swords also in the reverse. Hang on. Oh, no. Too many. I'll explain why I don't take this many cards, because it's not a shuffle so much as it is a collapse. We got the Two of Wands. We got the Five of Cups. There is a loss of somebody. There is in the midst of all of this connectivity that is imminent, right? These two are going to be connected. There is a sudden distancing or a loss, possibly of a mother figure, an ancestor, a grandmother figure. There's somebody out there, because we actually have like a funeral procession here. And this Two of Wands is talking about like the direction that things need to go. There is some kind of a loss. There's either like a day of remembrance, for ancestors or loved ones before these two start to migrate to each other. There's some kind of, I don't know, there's a loss. And is that going to change the trajectory of this? Will that speed it up or slow it down? It almost feels like there is a reason for him to perhaps reach out. We literally have the telephone here with the Queen of Cups. It almost feels as if there's some kind of experience that she conveys, this may be on her side then. And even if we look closely at that Four of Swords, if we look at it upright, she's sitting here by herself on this rock. And it's kind of like if, you see those little like tabletop Zen gardens with a little rake and a little sandbox and like one or two rocks. And it's supposed to be like, a soothing Zen thing to do. You make the little lines in the sand. But here we have it on like the macro scale, right? A human is sitting in like the Zen garden, and it's like he's here raking it. It feels as if this is them in the no contact silent situation. The Four Swords can be silence. It can be a time of healing. It can be a time of deep thought. But the silence is going to be broken seemingly because if she's enduring something that is a loss or something difficult, some kind of a burden. I mean, this could be a loss of a job. This could be a loss of a particular role of, something that we played in life. This can be the loss of almost anything, but it could also be the loss of a loved one, or like I say, the remembrance of a loved one. And that could be generating cause for him to say, oh, do I step back out of respect? Look, a King of Wands, especially it's already in love with her, is going to probably say, no, I need to lean toward her. I need to go toward her in her time of grief or need, not to capitalize on like, ooh, she's in a low spot now. She probably, needs a hug. I can slide on in. No, this is like to offer support. We have even the cat here that's white. It's pure intentions. It's as if this motivates him to either pick up the phone, reach out to her, just somehow like this might be the time that he feels more compelled to perhaps reach out after a brief pause. We have the Last Judgment, and this is sometimes this is reconciliation. I did not read it like this at all, because how could they have a reconciliation necessary if they've never even met, never even talked? So I'm not going to entertain the idea that this is somebody from her past, even though sometimes this card can indicate that. I'm going to avoid going down that route because they never have talked this whole time. We never saw that they knew each other. So not in the real 3D world. So I'm not going to put that on this storyline now with a plot twist, because we didn't see evidence of it till now. This is like from inside of a volcano. We got this phoenix rising from the ashes. If anything, since the Last Judgment or the Judgment card, it can be a judgment call, making a decision to do something. This might be like, okay, if I don't do this now, if I don't just reach out, I'm going to feel bad that I wasn't there for her during a time of need anyway, because she's somebody that I already care about. This has been under pressure in a volcano for a while. Let me just go ahead and, express condolences, reveal the fact that I am thinking of her or that I've heard through the grapevine, or even if he monitors her social media, has seen it on social media. There's something here about, remember, like I said, this storyline could be one where these two actually know each other through like the community, through the grapevine, through maybe it's social media, maybe it's, I mean, I think it's very acceptable to offer condolences and support, you know, even if it's people that we don't know, except as like public figures or through the grapevine. That's just like a normal human reaction to, you know, I'm so sorry you went through this, you know, I know you don't know me, but blah, blah, blah. It can actually be really supportive and really heartfelt and really kind. So I think he's realizing this is probably a really good time to go ahead and speak out. There is still tension and nervousness involved in this. And the reason I say that is because we got like this little eyeball monster thing going on in with a little toothy couple layers of teeth in here. It almost feels like this person's still kind of worried about, will I say the right thing? Will this be the appropriate time? I hope I don't botch this. I hope that my instincts aren't off. We have temperance, or art, as they call it in this deck. We got this ghost town. And then we've got something about like the divine is handing the deck of cards to someone, right? And we actually have two little galaxies, which I feel like is representing them. I think this is the perfect time for him to reach out and offer some kind of support. Anytime we see something like a ghost town, you know, of course, it's going to represent, you know, loneliness, loss, a time that used to be bustling and now there's nothing there. That very much is a metaphor for how we feel when we've lost something in our lives, whether it's a job, like I said, or whether it's, you know, missing the influence of an ancestor in our lives on our day-to-day basis. So whatever loss she's going through, she may feel like a bit of a ghost town. This is a really wonderful time for him to maybe come in and offer. We even see somebody coming in to offer. I honestly, I can't 100% tell what it is that they're offering. Part of it looks like not a protractor, but almost like something that you would use if you were navigating by the stars at night, if you were a sailor. Not a sextant, but there's a couple of different, you know, throughout history, if you look at some of the nautical observatories and museums, you know, there were throughout history, there were different like nautical devices that were used for measuring, you know, the stars and the placement of, you know, directions and such. And I feel like that's what he's holding in his hand here. We see the hand coming in to the ghost town to like offer something like, here's a new direction, kind of like in the time of your grief or loneliness, there is another direction. Like you're not actually alone. I am here. I almost feel like the universe is saying, you know, for everything that there is loss in the universe, there is also brand new beginnings. This is kind of like a beautiful, like opportunity for two people to like find comfort with each other. And in this case, for him to be a great source of comfort to her, but that might be the beginning of them finally like bringing a relationship into the 3D realm. It's at a time where she may have a hole in her life, and this person who has admired her from afar for quite some time is now stepping in and may really fill that hole in her life right now. That could be very much needed. Not that it's like a relationship that's just built on like, okay, I've got some grief, so come in and fix this for me. I don't see that, but rather there's some kind of, it's kind of like it's meant to be. That's the only way I can say this. This has been a relationship that's been aligning carefully and slowly for quite a while. And then it's like, and now is the right time. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. This is different than the other storyline, the one that I recorded earlier today that won't come out until tomorrow. It's, I don't know, this one was much more poetic and I was really interested to see what happens with these characters because they were both so likable, you know. Like I'm always rooting for our characters to get something good in their lives, but in particular I was rooting for these two because they both seem so likable and so maybe well matched. So it's kind of nice to see a storyline without the angst and the distress, but rather just this constant moving and leaning toward, you know, the kind of like relationship that this could be, which would be good for both of them. All right, I'm going to leave that there, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, Shu. Mancy Halls, great to catch you. Hi, RS. Angelina Davina, great to see you, honey. Mima Jamila, hi, honey. Super Thought, Rachel's Magic. Yeah, were you talking about one of the songs? Yeah. Tina Markey, awesome. Hey, Monkey Experiment. Love Rico Suave. Rico Suave. Angelina Davina's got her dollar bills. Hey, Victoria Knox. You're fashionably on time. You're perfect. Pipe Hammer. Voyager 2. Thank you again, Morticia. So kind. Miss Moody, hi. Oh, that's awesome. Italian Stallion. I hear they can be pretty messy and pretty loud. The peacocks, you know, people that have them that, you know, they strut around. And I had a friend who had many peacocks on his property, and he gave me all of the peacock feathers that he had collected. And I have had them for 20 years and they decorate my house. I have moved them from place to place to place and they're huge. And I have a lot of peacock feathers, but that is a gift from somebody that I worked with so many years ago. And it's like, I've never forgotten, like, oh, it was like gold to me. I couldn't believe he gave me all those feathers. Hi, Zoe. Is Cass SW? How are you? Hi, Griselda. Hi, Leah. Excuse me, Leia, pardon me. Thank you again, Rachel's Magic and Yell Rubin. Lillian Tidwell, hi, hun. Thalia Chavez in the house. Hi, Nancy. Crochet Every Day, hi. Spiritual Awakening, great to see you. Hi, Gabriella. Hi, Che. Calm C, hi. And welcome again, AC. Welcome to the memberships corner. So just so you know, honey, every Monday is when I go live just in our members corner. Later on tonight, I'll post the weekly. You guys get to vote on whatever topics you want for next Monday. And then every Monday, I also pick a winner and I do a storytelling for one of the members. And then once a month, I go live for a couple hours just for members. And we do card pulls. It's just for that closed group. So you guys get a much better chance of getting a card pull. So anyway, just so you know, all right. Kristen Alphabet, hey, how are you, hun? Hi, Sarah J. Alana Williams. Sunshine, you were first in the house. All right, you guys, have a beautiful evening. I'm going to do a couple of other zodiacs tonight. The Bayou's in the house. Hi, hun. Hi, Penny G, 808 Hawaii. Tammy Secord, hey, sweetie. All right, you guys, I will see you in, let's see, there were 2 zodiacs that I didn't get to last night, so I really need to get us onto those because I always feel bad when I don't get to every zodiac on a weekend, even though I try so hard on Sunday to get them all out. But I will get to those 2 right now, and I think I want to say that I missed Capricorn and I think Taurus. Anyway, guys, I'll see you there in just a minute. All right, bye for now. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.